Peace and blessings, and welcome back to another episode of the Heritage Hip Hop Podcast. This episode is brought to you by Transparent Credit Repair, the superheroes of the financial literacy and credit repair world. If you're looking to fix your credit and to fix your monetary position, if you're tired of opening up your wallet to pay out debts instead of bringing in income, contact Transparent Credit Repair by going to the tab at the bottom of the heritagehiphop.com page and filling out an application to not only get your credit repaired, but to change your life. So once again, heritagehiphop.com, look for the tab for Transparent Credit Repair. On this episode of the Heritage Hip Hop Podcast, we give a shout out to our brethren in Brooklyn, but we keep it Jersey, by talking to the nominees of the Heritage Hip Hop 2020's Project of the Year with their album, The Static Files. We talked to CF and Don Teak, which make up the Billion Man Rebellion. Make sure you stay tuned to hear more of what makes this group special and how they continue the legacy and heritage of not only Jersey hip hop, but Brooklyn hip hop and hip hop worldwide. Stay tuned. I'll come back with the rest of my commentary. Peace and blessings, everybody. Welcome back to the Heritage Hip Hop Podcast. Today, we have something special, and it's not something that every hip hop head gets to just go through. It's not something that's common in today. I'm not even going to do this on proper. Let me tell you what it is. There was a time when groups were the mainstay in hip hop, whether you were the Furious 4 plus one more, or you were MOP or Wu-Tang Clan, or even if you were Brick Mob. You know what I'm saying? Groups had names. And the thing that made the group last was dexterity, lyrics, beats, perseverance, and the ability to make you believe everything that they said. Today, we are bringing Billion Man Rebellion, the Project of the Year nominees, to Heritage Hip Hop. And before you turn off this interview, I guarantee you're going to learn something about what hip hop is and how come you're not hip hop compared to them. Introduce yourself to the folks, please.
Yo, what up? This is CF.
Peace, my name is Dante, the other half of BMR.
And
Facts.
gentlemen, it's a pleasure to have y'all. And Heritage Hip Hop is not about beats and rhymes. Heritage Hip Hop is about the culture and the heritage that made hip hop strong. Tell me about your background and how did you adapt hip hop into your life?
CF, go first.
I started getting into hip hop when I was a younger from my cousins. I used to visit them in the projects, in Hoboken projects, and they would let me rock with them or whatever, and they would put me onto Video Music Box and shit like that, and spinning records and stuff like that. And I was just like, all right. And then I would go to the projects and have little ciphers with them. And since I was the lightest one out of my cousins, they'd be like, go white boy, go ahead, go rap. You know what I'm saying? So it was mad. It was something that started because of, rest in peace, my cousin Evelyn. She passed away, but she was definitely a influence in my life in terms of getting into this hip hop shit. So it was bugged up.
Hey.
Oh shit, me. I was the kid that would listen to all the radio stations out of I had nothing but female cousins. So I was the one that was sitting there making the tapes and shit, finding out whatever Red Alert was on. And from there, I moved to Virginia and I had a DJ. I ended up carrying his crates to the parties and rapping, being the only dude that gets the microphone after, because I was the one carrying the crates type shit. So it started from.
That's very traditional hip hop, from carrying crates to ciphering, freestyling. That means that you always had hip hop in you and it had to be brought out. When did hip hop first come out of your system? So when people looked at you, they dropped their jaws and was like shocked.
When I started getting more organized with my lyricism when I partnered up with this kid named Saya, who lived around the corner from me, which we were childhood friends, and he got me into rhyming, because initially I didn't want to rhyme. I was just like, yo, I'm too light skinned, I don't know if this shit gonna work. And he's like, yo, it ain't about none of that shit, it's about your heart. It's about your
Facts.
heart.
Indeed.
So when I started rocking them around like that age, when I had my battle with him, because we used to battle back at the in the grade school, the lunchroom tables, banging and shit, making the drums or whatever. He
Mm-hmm.
beat me, son, and I ain't gonna front. I was crying. I was like, damn, like a little bitch. I was like, yo, that's fucked up. But my boy L was like, yo, you know what? Fuck that. You gonna be better than him. You gonna beat him. One day you gonna get up there. You gonna surpass him. And that's still my bro. Side to the day. Rest in peace, cause he got murdered back in '99. That's the homie. So
Mm.
we had another cipher, and I ended up overtaking him and getting ill. And that's when I noticed. I was like, oh shit, yo, I'm really getting better. I'm really developing. My skill set
Mm-hmm.
is progressing. And that's when people were like, yo, you gonna be something. You know what I'm saying? But it had to
Mm.
happen because of a failure in order for me to get to there. A failure from a person who was a mentor to me at the same time, because he's the one that got me in the game. So I took my first L with the dude that put me on to becoming an organized, effective lyricist. That's what I'm trying to say.
Nice.
Oh, that's crazy. That's dope. That's like the song that you did. The every L's a lesson. That's kind
Yeah,
of ill. Word
that's
up.
the way I
Well,
learned through trial and error. You know what I'm saying? That's the way I learned.
word up. Me is I spit a verse in school before I moved. Um, I spit a verse in school before I moved to Virginia, and everybody was just like spitting whatever shit, and the shit I spit, they looked at me like I was crazy. So I was like, all right. And once I moved to Virginia, I told them I could rap, but I couldn't really rap. I would just like freestyle and say shit off the head, like to myself. Nobody knew that I could rap except the like three people in that school. And I told the dudes I could rap. He's like, all right. Well, he tested me, gave me the microphone at like a little block party and shit. And I went in and they liked it, so I figured I was doing some high shit. Pops hit a
Word
little
up.
tape that they made from that night, and he thought I was Chia. I was like, all right, cool. You think I'm a rapper, so I'm gonna keep doing this shit.
That's just
Word
funny
up.
the
But my
way
pops was
how
into
we both.
music, so I was kind of like trying to make him notice and type shit.
She
Yeah,
Ali, you
that's.
said, huh?
I used to love that record too. Age is not just a number by Chi Ali
Yeah.
and the Road Runner. That
Yeah.
running that joint
Mm-hmm.
was my shit too back in the days. That's a fact.
Cooler Coyote. I'm the road runner, running the
Yeah.
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yo, I used to
Yeah.
love. I
Word
fucked
up.
with Chi Ali wild heavy, yo. And then my man China Mac put
Word
me
up.
on to him one day because China Mac was like, "Yo, I know Chi Ali because I mentioned Chi Ali in a verse when I was on stage, and China Mac just happened to be there. That's when he got out of when he was freed from his incarceration,
Mm-hmm.
and he was like, "Yo, I know Chi
Mm-hmm.
Ali, man. I can introduce you to him." So I met him one time. I was like, "Yo, Chi Ali was backstage at an Immortal Tech show," and I was like, "Yo, that's fucking dope," because I really fucked with Chi Ali when I was a kid. Still do though.
Yeah.
Facts. Fuck
He
that.
was the only kid chilling with the Native Tongue Squad too.
Facts.
That shit made you want to be him
Yeah.
for a second.
But isn't
Word
that
up.
isn't that what makes BMR dope? Is that y'all have roots in the culture instead of being two people who rhyme. Just thought we get together and just make music. What was it that impressed you about each other that made y'all a group and want to do something together?
I when I first met Don T, I was still a partner with Saya, and Don T came from Brownsville, Brooklyn, I believe. I don't know if he was staying in other places within the New York City metro area, but that's where his origins are from. And then
Stayed
came to
everywhere. I
Jersey.
definitely just came
Yeah.
to Brooklyn. Yeah.
So he was in Jersey City, and he was enrolled in the school there. And somebody said, "Yo, there's this rapper who signed this, that, and the third." And he was signed at that time to Sony Epic Street. So I said, "All right, I'm battling because I know I'm the nicest one here." And when I heard him, his demeanor, his flow, his cadence and shit, that shit what impacted me and inspired me to have more swag in my shit. Cause before everyone was trying to replicate like Gravediggers, but T came with that kind of like that boot camp click kind of flow. So it was two kind of camps going on in that '90s hip hop shit. You either was jumping on the woo wave or the boot camp wave. You know what I mean? And him being from Brooklyn, he was directly in that influence. So on the Jersey side, though we was influenced by Redman, we was more experimenting with our flows with me and my boy Saya, because I was listening also to Freestyle Fellowship and saying things that they were doing over there, and they kind of inspired me to just want to experiment with my music, which would kind of get me off beat, off the snare, even though I could rhyme on beat all the time. But I saw T's cadence, and that shit impacted me in a way that affects me to this day. It increased the quality of uh how I deliver my flow on the track and shit like that. So that's one thing that impacted me, and his perspective on shit. He has a grasp and a perspective and a well learned type of uh uh um he puts references, a lot of references in his flow and shit like that. And I was like, oh, all right, I see what he's doing. But we both kind of influenced each other. Like, you gotta understand, we met each other in 1994, and we currently in 2020. So
Word.
Nice,
that's a long ass fucking time.
nice.
And
Teak, what
like
made you
shit
think of
for
Sia?
me,
Mm-hmm.
like they had a style that was like it was kind of on the Gravedigger shit, but the way they spit was more like jazz. Like it didn't necessarily go to the beat, but it was on beat. It had its own beat within the beat. So that kind of like messed my head up. I was like, oh, you could do this other way. Where in my area, I didn't chill with nobody like in the Ville or on Union Street or Ralph Ave or Sutter. We would just there was nobody that really rapped. Like, and if they did rap, block. They was wherever the fuck. So the dudes I chilled with was all older than me. None of them rap. They was all Decepticons doing Decepticon shit. So I didn't really have too many people to sharpen the sword with. You know what I mean? So once I got with them, it's like, all right, cool. It's people I could like still sharpen still, like, cause we all like me and Saya was already rapping with each other, and then CF walked up, and then me and him started going back and forth, and it just seemed like some cool shit. It didn't really seem like we was just going at each other head. It was like, okay, let me see your style, like on some kung fu shit. Word up,
Yeah,
shit was dope though.
that shit. Even that first
Until
day
this
we
day,
wrote.
till this day, that nigga still surprise me all the time.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's the same thing here. Like, T got all the time got wild bars, and I mean, we sharpen each other. We sparring partners because we professionals at what we've been doing, because we've been doing it together for so long.
Yeah.
And there was an exchange of flows where I got his cadence, he got like the unorthodox style that I was experimenting at the time, and then we fused that together, and that's how we got BMO.
I'm glad you said that because when we do the history of hip hop, especially between New York and New Jersey, Brooklyn and Newark, New Jersey were the two territories that had this secret love affair that really got to each other. But then Jersey City is considered like another type of animal. It's a whole nother beast. I want to ask you, as a Brooklyn MC and as a Jersey City MC, what do you think is the marriage that makes Brooklyn and New Jersey get along so well?
I
Shit,
think it's that
good.
gutter shit. When I moved from the first place I moved to in Jersey when I moved from Brooklyn was Newark. I lived in Newark, but I was still going to school in Jersey City. Like we used somebody else's address. Ha ha, we got over. But but like Newark was just like Brooklyn. It was no difference except the fact that it was certain parts of Newark where the Puerto Ricans didn't like the black people and the black people didn't like the Puerto Ricans. So none of them liked me because they didn't know what the fuck I was. But yeah, I think it's the gutter part. Jersey City is something different, man. It's something different. I learned about it when I came to Newport Mall one time. Jersey City is something different. I love it though.
Yeah, I mean, to me, my family originally came from New York, and then moved to to Hoboken, then to Jersey City. But Jersey City was always had the Twin Towers in the backdrop, so we was always close to New York, but not New York. But yet we was Jersey, but not totally Jersey. So it was within the middle of this world, this little purgatory and shit that you had, which that gives you a different mindset as well. You kind of New York, but you not. You kind of Jersey, but you not. You become some other shit. And with that, it gives you a different type of mindset, different perspective on things. You see things from a certain view, and you always looking at the skyline. You know what I mean? And you that's inescapable view because it's always there. It'll obstruct your vision wherever the fuck you go. It's going to be there. So it was there's two people in Jersey City. You either try to rise above to rival the height of the skyscrapers in front of you, or you resign to the silhouette of those uh, tall structures and just stay in the shadows. You know what I mean?
Very poetic, very poetic. So with that being said, let's delve deeper into this group because my first experience with Billion Man Rebellion was at an open mic showcase. It was the last showcase. I forgot at whatever event it was because me and you CF spoke at the end
Yeah.
outside. But I was walking out with one of the people who performed, and Billion Man Rebellion took the microphones, and I had to stop and turn around. And the person I was with said, "Who the f is that?" And we just stared at the stage like, "Yo, they got it." I was like, "They got it, Joe. They got it." And
Yeah.
unfortunately, the battery in my camera wasn't even acting right. But I wanted to get that stage show so bad, and that's why I talked to you after the show and said, "Yo, I gotta get you on my platform. It has to happen." What is this? What is the thing that comes out of you when you hit the stage that makes everybody feel that energy and not just listen to your music?
So yeah,
Man. Well, you know what I'm saying? My background is Puerto Rican. Like in my ancestry groups that are mixed with us, European, obviously, Indian from the Arawak Tainos, or the first remnants of the first people to fight against Euro colonial oppression in this hemisphere, and West African. And our culture is extremely ingrained. West Africa is ingrained in the cultures, the spiritual, the vibrance, the backbone of it. You know what I mean? With West African griots
the drums.
transplanted in there, the drums, the bomba, plena, all of that, gombe, holande, cunya, yuba, you know what I'm saying? All of that stuff or whatever. So I always like to get to the root of shit. And when I got on stage or whatnot, I did not know where this essence was coming from, but I know it came from somewhere. And it's odd for me, someone as light as me, to be saying some shit like this, but the essence of Africa in is so potent. You know what I'm saying? And when you get on stage, that's what you're doing. It's back into that ritual, back into that griot, back into that bembe, or back into trying to channel the orishas or whatever it is. Something is occurring. There's some sort of chemical reaction in the brain. It's a communication between you, God, and the crowd, and you're the medium. You know what I'm saying? And once you have that, then
Mm-hmm.
you have a profound respect for you as a master of ceremony on stage, because now you know that you are there to relay the information from the crowd to the up higher being, and from the higher being down to the crowd. So you have a very, very important role to play. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I really feel when I get on stage. And then when I get on stage with my partner in crime, or then we reaching a whole new level, especially all the years that we've been uh, performing with each other, experimenting flows, creating music with each other. It's a whole different level. It's like going on stage with your family member who happens to be equally as talented as yourself. You know what I'm saying? It's like what Cab Calloway with his sister or some shit like that. Not saying gender's based here, but you know what I mean. It's like you going on stage with someone who grew up with you and became equally as professional as you, and y'all both deserve that time. So when you hear BMR set, you hearing history in there. You hearing history. You hearing spirituality. You hearing drums. You know what I'm saying? Even though it's from the polyrhythmic verses that we laying down through the mic. It's an experience, and that's what you felt that day. How many times they put us front? They put us the first ones on. Sometimes they put us the first ones
We
on. Like
don't
you be, they
care.
be, and I'll be
We
like, all
don't
right, that's what's
care.
up. I've done open mic, had to open up, be the opening act for Mortal Technique, mad other artists, mad times all over the world, and people appreciate that because of be like, damn, you still rocking, even if it was 3 motherfuckers or 1,000 motherfuckers. I used to rap for my grandmother. She would be the only one to listen to me rap when I was a kid.
Me
Have our
too.
little makeshift talent shows. That's another thing. Dantika and I were raised by our grandmothers, so we have a lot of things in common. But that in itself gave us that shit. Like, yo, if it's a one motherfucker or 1,000 motherfuckers, we gonna give them the best performance that we can to our maximum potential, because that's what we represent, is quality and history and experience. So that's what you heard that day, B. That's a fact.
All right. From my perspective, it's everything CF said, plus the fact that when we was on them corners rapping, for one, when my family, I would go to my family house in the Bronx from Brooklyn, and they would all be playing instruments, and everybody had a turn, everybody had a solo, everybody had a thing. I was too young to even to know. I was just in awe looking at it. So when I actually started writing rhymes and shit, and we was on the corners, we would project because it was so much going on. There'd be girls over here, it'd be somebody mother over there, there'd be cars going past and all that shit. So we had to project so people could hear what we actually saying. And that's what we do on stage. We give you
Facts.
every bit of what we're feeling at the time so you can hear it for real. And like I'm not the shit on like what the young people doing because it sounds like they don't really believe themselves. We believe ourselves because we talking some real shit every time, and that's how it was like in our time. We had to. I seen KRS get on the microphone one time, and he was the loudest person in the room, and it fucked with my head because I didn't know how to do it. Like when me and CF been getting on stages like since I was signed to Sony in like '95. I would bring these niggas me, yo, come over here. And it's trial
Facts.
and error. We will fuck up. I got booed a couple times. It was whatever. Like, but over the years, we learned how to do the same shit we did on that corner on that stage.
That's a fact. It's that street corner cipher shit, the street corner performances, and then when it comes to a stage, it becomes something different because you've already put yourself in there. You don't had the sparring, you know what I'm saying, the trial and error, the experimentation. So people ain't getting the beta, they getting all alpha when you on stage ready to kill shit. It's the hunt, the shit that you done train for.
Where
And
plus
that's
my pops was a club promoter back then too. So every show that he had, he would have us perform. Like no matter who's performing that night, we would perform. So
yeah. I
we had
remember
we got
all of that.
practice. We got
That's
practice.
a fact. I forgot
Mhm.
how that, you know what I'm saying, that we've been doing that. Then I started traveling all around the world and just rocking and shit like that. So that ended up boosting my confidence as well. Because what we got is confidence based on experience, not arrogance based on short-term gratification or some false superiority complex. Like we've been putting in our time. We've
Well,
been putting in our time. And
it's
that's that
time well
kind of
spent.
Jersey fortitude.
Oh, facts. Never
That's
say
a
die.
fact. That's a
Never
that's a
say die.
that's 1,000% facts.
Nah, we had fun, man. That
Facts.
shit, it's still fun to this day. We rocked at the gravesite about a week or two ago. That was our first performance since this pandemic shit started, and I think we raised the dead a little bit. It was kind of cool.
You
Yeah.
know, but
It's a, yo,
it's
and,
bugged out
and
though.
that was so dope.
It's bugged out though. You went really into the spirit of things. I always tell people, hip hop is not music. And if you think hip hop is music, I think you really miss the point of what it is.
It's a
Hip hop,
feeling.
hip hop is so spiritual that it comes from
Yeah.
God. That's why I named this platform Heritage Hip Hop,
Hmm.
because God's heritage is his children, which is humanity, and hip hop is what he gave us. You know, your
Dope
heart,
as hell.
your heart
Yeah.
is a drum, and the drum is the heart of the beat. We walk through life. We take journeys, or journeys are made through steps. We write notes of music on lines, what you call steps. We have we have systems in our body that makes us breathe, makes us produce sweat and sex and everything, and that's called a system. And when systems work together, they work in harmony. And when the beats and the rhymes come together and perfectly, it's called what? Harmony. So because hip
Word.
hop is so in tune to what we do, it was important for us to have a celebration of those who really live it and honor it and take it into their hearts. So that's why I think that live performance was so real to me, is because you amplify your essence or your knowledge of self through beats. You see what I'm saying?
That's gangster. Yeah, it's 100%. That's 1,000%. Actually, you said that so eloquently. That's exactly what the fuck is being done when we
Word.
go out there. The manifestation of all the time, the development of our expression from trial and error to it came to a point where it reached that perfect pitch, that harmony.
Word.
You know what I mean?
And
It makes one think the architect of the universe most likely was putting this shit together to some sort of rhythms that we will never fathom and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because we didn't have
That's
to
some
meet,
crazy
but we
shit.
did. Like that's just different. I could have went to any school.
well, yeah, everything's
Yeah,
meant to
Word up.
happen for a purpose. There's nothing
Word
that
up.
happens by accident. It's only our choices that make our roads go the way it's supposed to go. You know what I'm saying? And with
Word.
that being said, let's talk about the choice of the album itself, the Static Files. Now, it was nominated for Project of the Year, not because it was a dope album. I think having a dope project is better than having a dope album. Because the album is
Okay.
something that you can listen to, but a project is something you can live with. You know what I'm
I
saying?
Word.
gangster.
Word.
So
Yeah.
so even from the cover art, when I saw two gentlemen standing in red, but it's called static files. Now, if you know the definition of static, static is either the electricity that disrupts the norm, or static is the balance that makes life possible. Why was this called the static files?
Because it was
Man, like
produced by DJ Static.
that's a fact. It was produced by DJ Static is a DJ toward a phenomenal producer who I knew for a long time, and I went on tour with him extensively because he was Immortal Techniques main DJ after DJ GI Joe. So I developed this relationship with DJ Static. He's a brother of Ghanaian descent. He's from Ghana, West Africa, from the Bronx, and he just works. Like we would be on tour and everybody want to go meet chicks and smoke trees. I don't smoke or do none of that, and I ain't give a fuck about the groupies. My music was in not that I got anything against people that smoke or do that. That's just not what I did. My focus was I wanted to do music. That's what I wanted to do. I really wanted to travel the world, make money off the music, and give them the message. That's it. And Static was on the same vein. So he would be in a hotel room, or sometimes they'll have us, share the same room together, and we just be creating while everybody out there doing whatever the fuck they gotta do, painting the town, whatever. We was just creating. We was doing what we was meant to do. What that the reason why we were there.
Yeah,
We
they
had
got
our
you there.
experiences, yeah, but we took our experiences and the reason why people saw us and took and told us, yo, come to this place or we'll pay for y'all is because they seen that we had hunger in our eyes and they was gonna feed us the visions. So when me and Static linked up, he's seen that out, him and I, we were like minded in terms of our work ethic. And I always wanted to do an album with Don Teak. I was on the Viper Records at the time, and what I wanted to do was kind of get more fame through that role, and then have Teak, because Teak was he had his family. You got so you can't just break out on the road like that. So I was gonna try to establish a cushion where we could get off of good financial backing, where we could travel, at least go on a tour, a light tour together, and live out a dream for a second, and then do a project. You know what I'm saying? Because we never really got to do an official project. So I asked Static, I was like, yo, you know what I'm saying? I got my man Ron, like, you got some beats for us and shit? And you always making beats, and you did mad joints for projects and albums that I did. So I started getting beats and I'll send it to Teak. And Teak developed a relationship with Static as well. And we would send joints like that BMR1, which is the one of the joints on the project.
Classic.
That was the first track. That was the first track we recorded together on a
That's a
Static joint,
that's a
I
classic
believe.
song.
Word up. Good
Yeah,
looking.
good looks. And that's how it started. So Static heard it, he's like, oh, all right. And he kept sending us more joints. And then that's how, at that time, I was on Viper Records, but my album was kind of on delay because, Immortal Technique was, I guess, not not traveling, and the engineer that I work with was now had to go on tour and do like live Pro Tools sessions for like Alicia Keys, Ed Sheeran, K-pop groups. So he was busy doing that. I was like, shit, I gotta go. I gotta still create. I have to. Artist constantly creates. That never stops. and Teak was always creating. So I got with my day one. I was like, yo, let's just keep making music. We was making other different types of projects on the side. For every project that we had producers give us shit to, we named the producer's name and files. So Johnny Bravo was a producer. He gave us some tracks. We call them the Bravo files. Someone else was like gave us track. We
Biko.
call it that file, Biko files. So Teak would put them under those categories on a folder. This files or that files. The static files had something a little bit different because of the fact that I don't know, the production was more quality. I'm not gonna say that. I'm just saying we ended up getting more loose on his beats than we did with other people's shit. At least in my opinion.
Yeah,
It's
we recorded 3 albums, like just to see what we would actually have, and then the Static Files was the first album. Then we recorded the Bravo Files, and we recorded the Vico Files. Like just because we was making a lot of music, and whoever made the beats, we would put it as they files for that time being and shit. But the Static Files shit, it stuck more. Like it was a better plate of food at that time for us to put out and structure it and make it an actual album.
yeah. I mean, so that whole shit, like the way how that came out, but it's interesting that you say that because the static and the duality in its meaning and definition is reflective of our you know what the project is and our contrast between Dantique and myself because we are two totally different individuals who've known each other for more than 20 years and tend to mesh well on record. You know what I mean? Like it's DC and AC is, you know what I'm saying? It's like that kind of crazy shit, the contrast and the elevator on the album cover and it being red, another thing. The red is like either you stop or you angry. You know what I mean? And then the elevator, either we going up or we going down. Or one is up and one is down. I might be down at one moment, he might be up the next. He might be down at one moment, I might be up, or this and that. But we are there to kind of lift each other up. We are the people that control the console on the elevator to get us where we gotta go to. So you know
Kind
what
of
I mean?
noticed
That's
that about all other groups too. Like Smooth V ain't nothing like Greg Nice. Like when you look at actual like real dope groups, they're always individuals that actually can hold their own and shit.
yeah. So I mean, a lot of times it's what the contrast is what gives it the unique appeal. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? What gives a group its longevity, like you said, uh, dexterability, the what makes it durable, and why is it that our relationship is transcended even with the death of our one of our original members of ours because our mutual friend was murdered in 99 so we continue to pass the torch in his name
Northside.
but we never really did an official record so what you listening to when that static files is 20 years of things that never got done until now.
That's very interesting because when I interviewed Billy Danz, right, he said MOP was never a hip hop group. MOP is a family. They just rap. So
Word.
like that relationship is what comes through and makes them so dope. I told Billy Danz he's one of the most quoted rappers of all time because he has a line or bar or a punch that everybody can make a song out of.
It's
Salute
gangster.
MOP. Word up.
Oh, yo, I got a story about son. I don't want to take.
Oh, go
Yo,
ahead. You want to tell it?
so yeah, so
Yeah.
yo, back in the days, you remember in the bricks, there used to be this club called the Zanzibar,
Of
right?
course.
And so Teak
Remember the fans about.
was signed to Epic Street, and he was and he's from Brooklyn, Brownsville, so he ended up rocking a show with mad Brownsville heads in the bricks. I think uh members of Boot Camp Clicker. I think Smith and Wesson was
Yeah,
there,
Smith
right?
and Wesson
T.
was there.
Smith and
Smith and
Wesson was
Wesson
there.
was there. Fucking
MOP
I
was
think Helter
there.
Skelter was
Smooth the
there.
Hustler, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Helter Skelter. Eye. So all these people there, and we was deep. T was deep as hell because I mean, people don't know T half Puerto Rican. So his father already amassed a bunch of Puerto Ricans from Lower East Side, and we went there in like a mini tour bus, a tour van, or some little van or whatever that we went out there. And shit. So we was wild deep, a bunch of Puerto
It was
Ricans that
yo.
was. I think some of them
It
was
was the
high
15
dust.
passenger van that my dude would use to take. He had he had special needs kids that he would take from here to there, and that was his job van. And they would just after work, they would just fill up the van and go chill, smoke, or wherever.
Yo,
Sometimes they used
son,
to come to Jersey and
it
come
was,
to our show.
word. So they came in as like an entourage. But we out there in the bricks, and this is the time when this is before Bloods and Crips. Even though I think the legacy of Bloods has been in Jersey longer than New York. You know what I'm saying? By some direct West Coast connect, which could be speculative. I don't know, but this was when the Zoo Crew was popping. That was they shit. So we out there, we rhyming. Everybody gets booed, yo. Everybody. They don't give a fuck. We in the bricks. Everybody, all these Brooklyn dudes getting booed. I don't give a fuck. Everybody getting booed. Except Little Fame from MOP. And I'm still trying to figure this out. So one of the heads from the Zoo Crew was like, when MOP
Yeah.
came up, they was about to boo him. He's like, ain't nobody booing Little Fame. Fuck out of here. Nobody. And I was like, how the fuck did MOP get some sort of like pass in the bricks and everybody else got booed for Brownsville? I'm still trying to figure that shit out to this motherfucking day. To this motherfucking day, yo. And
Yeah,
you know that.
salute Lil Fame.
So now that you
Word
brought
up.
that out, that's just a little history, a hip hop history, Jersey hip hop history lesson. And
Word up.
peace out to the Zoo crew who was really fucking holding the bricks down. And peace out to the Zanzibar and shit. And yo, peace the fuck out to Little Fame, man, cause he got that shit the fuck off. That's gangster.
Word.
That's
And it
that's
was a
the
peaceful
love.
night too. It was a peaceful night. Like that was the crazy shit. Niggas got booed, but everybody left safe.
Yeah. I'll tell you something though. The next following week, there was a party at I think in Essex County College where Wu Tang was at or performance, and I think they tried to jump Wu Tang or some bullshit like that. And I believe that it was the same energy. You don't go to
Mm.
the breaks back in the '90s thinking you gonna have a right show and you don't got no connect. Cause you will get the motherfuckers will shut that shit the fuck down. At least from back what I remember, B. So you had to perform in Jersey, you better be made of some shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
That's a
definitely,
fact.
definitely. And see, even with that energy, right? The thing I know about MOP is MOP has ties to New Jersey, where Billy Dan's and Lil Fame are like they seem just like brethren to the state.
Indeed.
You know what I'm saying? And even
That's
with
that I learned that day.
even with this album, there's a certain connection that makes this album so New York, so Jersey, but yet so necessary to the culture. The song that you brought up, BMR one, I put that on Heritage Hip Hop playlist number 3. And it wasn't even my favorite song on the album. It was just that the energy was just so raw that we don't hear that enough when it comes to today's rhymes and today's hip hop. Do you think the soul of hip hop is dormant or asleep or lost, and that you have a sound that's just so pure hip hop that it is necessary for us to keep that sound alive, even though the radio may not play it?
Yo, that's
Hey,
crazy how you say that. Teak, you got something for that?
I was just gonna say we're from a time where that that's what it was. Like it's on we on some Willie Mammoth got frozen and then unfrozen type shit when it comes to that, because that's what we do. We advanced it to the point where people could understand it from wherever, but we got to give it to you like that. There's no other way to do it. We don't know no other way.
Yeah, I mean the shit is when I was looking at like Afro Cuban shit and you know saying how they had the purists and the folkloric the players of the drums and like that and the same thing in Puerto Rico and I'm like, well, if they doing that there and that's African music transplanted in the Americas, then why can't hip hop have the same essence? And that's what
Indeed.
we doing. We doing like folkloric and it's bugged out to even say it like that because it just sounds funny. But it's true, we doing folkloric music like from the '90s in with the now sound. Yeah, it has that essence of being frozen in time shit, which makes it, you know what I'm saying, so unique that it won't get played on no fucking on radio. But that being said, it's something that's specifically uniquely a Jersey shit. It's something that the music we do is a gift to the places we from. That's a fact. It's like giving
Indeed.
back to where we came from. So sometimes we don't get paid for this shit. Like we didn't get paid for none of this project. We generated in the pandemic like 2,500 that we put it back into the next project because we already 19 joints into that. But the main thing is this for the culture. It's for the preservation of the culture, especially in this day and age. You know what I mean? The
Hmm.
truest American art form is jazz. You know what I mean? And Benny Goodman did what he did, but Benny Goodman ain't gonna be no Miles Davis. Miles Davis is a purist. You know what I'm saying? He believes in the roots because he's rooted in the music. It's in his bones. It's made him who he is. Or the people that are directly from New Orleans that did that. Not the others that didn't come from it, like the Louis Armstrong, or even going deeper into that, Marcellus
Thelonious
Wallace and shit
Monk.
like that,
Thelonious
Thelonious
Monk.
Monk. But I mean,
Uh-huh.
Marcellus Wallace and shit like that. He sees that he's from there. He's from the roots where he eats the gumbo. He smells the smells. You know, he been a Congo Square. He done seen him play bambule type shit. Like he's seeing that essence, and it lives in him every day. It's a part of what he breathes. And that's the type of hip hop we are. We breathe that shit because we come from that era. But that era also is a bygone era to many.
I don't really think so. You know what I think it is? I think hip hop allowed the middleman to steal the essence. So the people who are holding on to the soul are holding on for dear life while the body is being torn away from it. Let me just I
I
say
think
this.
niggas is
That's
just
gangster.
chasing whatever's on the radio.
But
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 see,
what
there
you
was a
said,
there was
what
a
you said
there
was
was a
so
time
gangster.
there was
That's
a time.
gangster.
Nah, I like what he said too, but there was a time where everybody was just chasing whatever the fuck the South was doing on the radio because that was the only way to get on the radio. So our shit changed into some other shit. I kind of like what it is now with the young kids. Like they got a
Yeah.
little bop to it that's wild. I can't even front. That shit is
Yo,
dope.
yo,
But
I don't.
the only thing I don't like about it is the fact that you got to be going at somebody. It got to be like some. You got to be killing them instead of just spitting some dope shit. Like
Yeah,
there's
that's
something
crazy.
like
When
there's an energy that you could bring to your own when you go to your own shows. You don't want the energy to be, oh, they came here to kill me, not to watch me perform, because I've been talking about killing them this whole time in these songs. Like, like
that
it got to be something doper than that, man.
I feel like the music is the drum, and the drum is still war in itself. It preps you for
Indeed.
war. It's part of everything else. So that's always a part of that culture. People can never separate that from it. They try, and we can't tell people like this is that warrior culture is not a part of the music because they go hand in hand. And unfortunately, the
No, I'm just
byproduct
saying
of
it
that
can't be the
is
totality
violence
of
and
it.
shit.
That's all.
Yeah, I
You
got
can't
what you
just
mean.
yeah, yeah.
That's 1,000. But I mean, like to me, I could appreciate what people are doing. I mean, the South is where this shit originated from. To be truthful with you, I mean, not probably hip hop came by way in the East Coast through you know West Indians from Jamaica with the systems culture. You know what I mean? The audios, the speaker culture that they had there. The scanting, the chanting.
yeah,
Yeah, but they
Um,
also had a like Pick Feed Markham, like Here Come the Judge. They was rapping for a
yeah,
long time. But you mix that
all
with the shit from Jamaica, then you mix the fact that niggas is like, yo, I'm gonna grab these turntables.
yeah,
Word up,
that
I'm gonna
too.
get
And
these
they was doing
speakers.
that whole breakbeat shit. That's part of that. But even in Puerto Rico,
That
in the
break
West Indies,
dancing.
in the Caribbean, there's something. Even in Puerto Rico, there was something called poema negroide, black poetry. You know what I'm saying? Where people
Mm-hmm.
would rhyme on drums. So that griot culture, into modernized through Jamaican, brought into the East Coast and the South Bronx, and adapted by the African Americans there with Puerto Ricans, kind of reinforcing whatever they already had, created that sound
Mm-hmm.
with the fact that they in that place where there's poverty and all that stuff, that the only thing that they can do is focus on creating a culture to allow them to escape from the realities of the conditions that they were living in and shit like that.
But
Word.
even
And
today,
that blackout helped too when they got to steal all
Oh
that
yeah,
equipment.
when they got all the equipment and all that, yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. But like what I'm saying is the
Word up.
South. Getting back to what I was saying real quick, yo, the South is just the music that they doing is another segment of that evolution. Whether it
Hmm.
might not sound with multi-syllabic wordplay and shit like
They
that,
got some of
it's
them. Big Crit is dope.
there. No,
Big
but
Crit is
not even
dope.
that. All
He
of
got
them
some
are
of them.
out there, but there's an appreciation in that. You know what I'm saying? Like I
Nah,
could
there's
hear Bomba.
appreciation in all of it. I used to
Yeah.
live out there. I South
You
Carolina.
already know. I remember when you was talking with the swag. I was like, "Oh, what the fuck you talking out here
bro,
with a
I
country
love
shit?
that
That's
shit.
gangster."
But it's when you try to chase it over here, it becomes like mundane. Let them niggas do their shit, bro. Like I'm glad that this
Yeah, no,
it's
you
not
right.
that anymore. They changed it into something like dope with this like with the music that they're doing now. Like, but they also got it like the grime shit is kind of like that, and the but like it started from trap, but like trap then turned into grime, then it turned into the Chicago shit, the drill,
Yeah,
like
not
but they got
everything.
now they got
You
Brooklyn
right. All that.
drill, they got a bunch of other shit, and it's dope. All I'm saying is say something. I
Yeah, nah,
challenge you
but
to say something.
you know what the ill shit is back in the days before the advent of the internet and shit like that. And I did specify, I did emphasize on back in the days and shit because it wasn't that long ago to be truthful. But it was that people were bottlenecked within their own region. You know what I'm saying? And being that you bottlenecked in your own region, you in your own
Yeah,
spot.
yeah, yeah.
You got no other external influences, so it allows you to cultivate something that's pretty unique to that area. You know what I mean? And still,
Word.
like I even go back to what we was talking about Bomba and shit. Even that, because that I was watching some shit in a documentary about all the different ways how this sort of African drumming or musical form was played on the island, and it was distinct according to each individual town. And the island is only 100 miles uh, 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 east to west and 20 north to south, with all of this diversity in this musical form played different depending on the town that you in. And I was like, that's
Word.
gangster. And that, imagine and some towns didn't see other towns because there was no transit system back then. These people were bottlenecked and had no way to go out, so they created something that was distinct, and that's in a small area. You know what I'm saying? Imagine this vast land mass in the United States and how what type of things popped up and all different genres. Some come and gone because they wasn't recorded. There was no Smithsonian back in the 1800s and shit. You know what I'm saying? So
Word.
like what we witnessed, at least our time, was the last uh preservation of those kind of sounds that didn't have those immediate external influences.
so let's bring it back
and
towards the
and that's
album. Let's bring it back towards the album. With all that being said, in different
Hmm.
territories, let's talk about Brooklyn, New Jersey. That song was played last. No, that song was played 2 weeks. No, last week. Last week on the Bally, the 420 Bally Hour show on A Squad Rebel Radio. Salute to Chief Bally. That song
good
was
look
played,
for real.
and the crowd. It was. How do you feel about it? And there was a lot of we puffing it at. We puffing it at. We like that. We like that. Well, tell since we're talking about territories and energy, what was the energy that made that track work and fit perfectly into that project?
Go ahead, Cheek.
um, Static had the beat, and then June did a chorus, and it went from there. Like word up. That's one time like say, yo, let's do this on the chorus or whatever. I was like, yo, just say Jersey and say Brooklyn, and that's all he needed. He went in on the chorus, and we just went from there.
Yeah, I mean, I thought
See,
like the sound I thought is like Brooklyn and Jersey City have Manhattan surrounded, because Brooklyn's to the East River and Jersey City to the Hudson River, and it's like we got Wall Street surrounded on both sides. You know what I'm saying? And that was my main kind of concept behind it. And there's similarities between Brooklyn and Jersey City because of the fact that they so close to to Manhattan. You know what I mean? It's like Jersey City is like the Brooklyn to the west. from the
Like,
Jersey side.
I like how you said that, because going back to the project, both sides of your character is what's forming the sound. CF is
Yeah.
the Tasmanian devil. He gonna spit, and when he spit is eloquent, intelligent, and relevant. But when Tikva
Word.
is smooth, deadly, and punctual. So if you're a real hip hop head and you really like the bars and you really like flow, y'all hit the mic in such a way that how can you duck from a gut punch but then get hit with an uppercut? It's like either way the sort
It's
of track
gangster.
comes, you're gonna get hit either way. And one of my favorite songs on the album that showed that was Reason. Talk about Reason and the message that you wanted to give from that track.
Man, that shit was wild deep. That song. Go ahead, Teak. You let me know your side.
I was basically saying we all here for a reason, and I know I'm here for a reason. It's like kind of like an affirmation type shit, like just to sometimes we need to pump ourselves up. But in the verse, I was more like showing people that I've been through this shit too. I know you're going through this shit, but I've been through this shit too. And when CF went in, that shit it was a little ill. Tell them about it, man.
Yeah, my shit. I like to get. I get personal on record because I always want the audience to connect, and I always want to just be transparent and speak to people that are going through things that are not being that people are not vocalizing on record. You know what I mean? Nobody's talking about certain things like infertility within minority communities and things of that nature. So I was in a relationship where I was helping a girl raise her child or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I don't know anybody who's ever been in the stepfather position. It is what it is. But I wanted to raise this child to be a better man than me because I grew up with no father, and we was trying to have a child. But you know, saying I found it was discovered that I had on something called cystic fibrosis, not the full shit, but a mutated gene that's inactive, but it still could stop you from having kids. You only could have kids like through IVF or some shit like that. And the girl wasn't with all of that. She didn't really give a fuck about trying to create a family. She was cool with me taking care of her kid, but not me having a family. So it made me tend to think like, am I in this relationship because I give a fuck about the kid, or is it because I want to heal the inner child that I went through? So I had to go through an accountability and realization at that moment of what was my legacy going to be, since I might not be able to create one. And so my legacy was music, and that's why it gave me a reason to keep creating. Because if you can't create in one aspect, you can create in another. You know what I'm saying? And it was changing perspectives. And that when you're doing an album or when you're doing a song, there's a psychology behind shit. We're not doing shit because we want to get super paid. We have a story to tell while we on this planet for a short period of time, and we want people to know that people like us did exist, and that no matter what it is that we going through, we all gonna get through it. Pandemic, shit like that. So that's what my thing. And no one ever talked about shit like that on record. No one ever talks about shit like that. No one ever. They tell you about getting high. They tell you about fucking a bunch of bitches. They tell you about this, that, and the third. But they're not telling you about human issues. Like obviously, racism is a human issue. Obviously, what's going on within the inner urban areas within Black communities specifically and Brown communities are real fucking poignant shit. But there's also other things affecting brown and Black communities that are not being expressed on records because people are either scared to talk about it or they just think it's not cool. And we not here to do the cool shit. We here to just be transparent and speak to those who don't have a voice, give voice to the voiceless. And that what that record was about. It was about legacy. Which brings us to our next album. When our next album we calling it Ghost Lineage. Cause it's like about, imagine if we had, you don't know who started BMR. The two people that started it was a mythos, and now everybody's kimming up, concocting all these different images of these two individuals who CF and Dantique really are, when it's far from whatever they depict us to be, because they never met us. You know what I'm saying?
And
So it
with that being said, first and foremost, salute to y'all for being artists and making your art. But I want the people who are listening to this to understand that, like I said, hip hop is more than music, because music is just a door. And if you're running just to get to the door, then you're going to be nothing but a spectator to the people who pass through the door and elevate past beats and go into life, rhymes, purpose, and stability. So with that
Hmm.
being said, please reintroduce yourself to the people and drop your social media, please.
Peace. My name is Don
Go ahead,
Teague.
T.
You can hit me up, Don Teague3, Instagram. Don Teague at Gmail if you got beats. Don't send me no bullshit. Or Billion Man Rebellion at Gmail. Word up.
Word. My name is CF. That stands for Child Forsaken Constant Flow. You could hit me up at CF201, like my area code. Billion Man Rebellion on my IG, as well as CF201 on my IG, CF201 on my Facebook, CF201 on my Twitter. And you can also hit us up at Billion Man Rebellion on Facebook as well. We currently have a website, www.billionmanrebellion.com, where we have the record on there. We have various merchandise that we're also selling. Anything that we get, all proceeds from the product go back to the next product and to this product. We have three videos in development. And I just want to have the fans mindful that, or anybody who's listening, that the static files was financed by a GoFundMe from our fans. We ain't come out of pocket with none of us. Some here and there, but it was all financed by the fans. So everything you hear, if you get that record,
all the videos, all the mixing was by the fans. Word up.
All by the fans. We ain't come out. They believed in us, and then now they see the quality in the product from their belief in us. And believe me, if you believe in us that much, with that just that little belief, that little faith, and you will be amazed about the shit that we got coming. That's a fact.
Well, Heritage Hip Hop is behind you, and we're going to support you in any and everything that we can. Because
1,000.
You were nominated for this project not because we want to hear music. You were nominated for this project because we felt the truth within what you gave us. So for everybody out there that's listening, hey, stream this album to you can't no more. But purchasing the album is what's better, because by putting money down, not only do you sow into the people that make the product, you assure yourself more music. Sometimes you don't need a scratch off, you don't need a bottle of water, but you need the music. So buy the single. And if the single's that good, buy the album. I'm going to tell you now, out of five mics, I gave this
Watch the video.
4 3/4, because this was like damn near a classic album, and the project makes it's an even better project. So with that being said, y'all, I want to play the rapid fire game with y'all. Y'all ready to play rapid fire? Y'all want to do that?
Oh shit, let's go.
All right,
Yeah.
All right, so here we go. The rapid fire questions are not questions about who got the fattest butt or loving hip hop. I don't really care about that. The rapid fire questions show your depth and knowledge of hip hop culture and where you're going to take your gift in hip hop in the future. So y'all ready to go?
Deep. I hope I ain't ready for this. Yeah, let's try. Okay.
I hope so too. I was drinking.
All right, so here we go. Question number 1. What song or album perfectly describes you from another artist's catalog?
Oh shit.
At what time though? Like perfectly describes you, period?
It's your question. You could take it any way you want.
Damn, that's crazy.
That was wild deep.
That's kind of ill. Like I gotta.
Yo, this interview was mad lit though. That's a fact.
Nas album, Illmatic.
Okay, CF, what about you?
Man, son, he just took it because I fuck with Nas heavy. Like Nas is the main. Oh no, Redman. What the album? That was the first. That was like a big inspiration for me. That's a fact.
Okay.
That's a fact.
I bet it wasn't.
And there is a dark side. Was actually wild there.
Okay. All right. Question number 2. Hip hop is known for taking songs and remixing them. And for everybody out there who doesn't know what a remix is, we would either change the beat or add MCs to a song to prolong the life of an album or record.
Word.
I ask both of you, what's the greatest remix in hip hop history?
Wow, that's crazy. Remix? You mean a sample from something that was done over again?
No. Nope.
Shut them down.
Whole song.
Oh, I got you.
I say shut them down. I love Shut them down when that shit come on. That Pete Rock remix.
Woo. Yeah, that was gangster.
That's God.
What remix that I like the most that I fuck with? Damn, yo, you got me thinking about mad shit. fuck no, think, yo, because there's been mad remixes that I'll be like, oh shit, oh, you can't stop the Prophet remix by Pete. Damn, Pete Rock be making some dope ass fucking remixes, son.
All right, so we got P Rock on the remix. Now, let me ask you this though: y'all are a group, and I've known that I know that you have done songs with people, and y'all have probably stole the show. That's called the feature or the guest 16, where somebody jumps on a track and they take the track over from the original artist whose song it is. I want to ask you something: who has the greatest guest 16 or featured bar in hip hop history?
Man, son, I
Feature.
mean,
I don't want to be redundant and say Nas on Raekwon album. That would be
You
kind of
can. That was a
crazy.
great one. You can.
But
he did
mm,
outshine all of them on that shit. That's
nah,
crazy.
they all got off. They all got off. But Nas is crazy.
Nas
Damn.
did kill that shit. That's a
Greatest though.
fact.
We got greatest.
I mean, I would have said, and this is mad cliche, M on that renegade shit. You already know. Everybody know that though.
Nah.
Fuck.
I
Who
think
the fuck is
OC
else?
or OC on a fudge fudge shit with
You
organized
think he
confusion.
stole it? Okay.
I think he
What?
stole it, yo.
Yeah,
I
okay.
think so.
Nah,
All
yo.
right, that's interesting. You the first person I ever heard
I
say that.
can't.
No, but that no, the
I
ill shit
never.
is the ill shit is I was like, oh shit, who is this person? Like I seen these niggas and they was like, oh, they got their mans too. Alright. Like they mans is
Yo,
kind of dope.
the
Word up.
scenario remix that first homie that he,
Buster.
he killed that shit. Nah, Buster
Oh, the
did it. I mean,
hood.
but
The
Kid
yeah,
hood.
that
Hood.
he died.
Kid
The hood
Hood.
that passed away.
Died.
Word up.
Kid Hood.
R.I.P. the hood.
Yo,
Word
you
up.
know who else is dope on? I mean, and this is no remix shit, but Redman gave that dude a shout out. That Rockefeller Rock on joint on the There's a Dark Side. That shit was
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
actually
Yeah, that
that
song
was
that song was actually a remix because
Shit.
Rockefeller had the first
Redman
verse.
on
oh see
Redman on EPMD album. He
Hardcore.
took over the show over that
oh
shit.
word.
Word up.
That's a
Yeah,
fact.
yeah. All right,
That's a fact. Damn, EPMD the his squad was lit.
so let's go to the next
A
question.
headbanger. That was
I
my
got I got
shit.
I got about 4 more questions before we turn this off. So one of the questions is if you had the opportunity to make your perfect track, who's the feature and who's the producer?
All right, see if you gotta go first.
Wow, that's deep.
One more thing. Dead or
Perfect
alive, no
track.
restrictions.
Perfect
Oh
track.
shit. He said dead or alive too.
That's
Yep.
don't lie.
Perfect track.
Track.
Your perfect beat. And if there's a feature, who would you like to work with? Dead or alive, no restrictions.
That of alive, no restrictions. Stevie Wonder. I go
You
with
said
Stevie.
it don't have to be a rapper then? Oh, that's what's
Nah,
up.
it's whatever you want.
I go with Stevie, man. I get him at the keyboard and I do the drums. It's over.
But who gonna make? Oh, so he gonna make the beat
Nice.
and be the feature? Ah, you got the 2-for-1 deal. That's what's up.
What? That's how you work that shit.
That's dope.
You know
Yeah.
he gonna want to sing on it.
Yo, he got that shit on. Now I gotta do
Like,
some typical shit because I ain't thinking like that. That's crazy.
hey,
Dead or alive, yo. Who the fuck I fuck with dead or alive, yo? That's gangster. Who the fuck was? All right, let me see something now. You gotta think back, think, go deep and shit. Damn, legend, this is gonna be crazy. Who the fuck got the? Who's got the crazy drums, yo? Crazy drums, yo. Who got crazy drums, yo?
uh,
Knife Wonder.
yeah,
If it be a Knife Wonder joint, then it would be something that I would like to rock with. If the drums is lit, like fast, Knife Wonder.
Swizzy
DR
got
period.
drum.
Oh,
The
Swizzy on some shit with Pharaoh Munch on the chorus? Yeah, something like that. And Nas on the no Black Thought on the verse. Facts.
Yeah, you got mad features.
Oh, you said only two, right, Legend?
nah, whatever
So
you want.
yeah, I
It's
mean
your song. Nope.
Oh, it's gonna
yeah,
be more
Pharaoh
people.
Munch on the chorus.
Whoever
Pharaoh
you want.
Munch on the chorus. Black Thought with a verse. And then uh probably yeah, I think Knife Wonder uh on a on a joint. I would have said Primo, but that would have been mad cliche and shit like that.
All
But
right.
that
Well,
Knife
definitely.
One kill that
And
shit. He
you
could
know what
rap to the beat.
I would love to make like what's that Mon Spray Mon Spray remix from that J. Rule album, right? Or with
okay.
me and Black Thought.
Yeah.
Okay.
Me and Black Thought, son, and Pharaoh on the chorus. Yo, why am I bugging? Yeah, more of that. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Oh, that's fucked up. I was gonna have you on my shit.
Oh, my bad. I always, I mean, we done
He
did
said
mad
Pharaoh
features.
on it. I was like, I want to be on that now.
Pharaoh on the chorus.
Oh shit.
All right. So
I always thought
Word up.
Black. Yo, that's crazy that Pun put Black Thought on a feature on his joint because he said that Black Thought wouldn't outshine Pun. But now you look at fucking Black Thought's catalog, like he a
he's a
killer,
beast.
B. He a
So
monster.
let me ask you this question. New Jersey is known for having some of the most eclectic, monumental groups in hip hop history. The Artifacts, the Lords, Fugees, even if they were like somewhat unknown under the radar, like Signs of Life, Rotten Rascals, Cruddy Click, Zoo Crew, Brick Mob.
Heard Sounds of Life was
Salute.
wild dope.
So where does BMR stand when it comes to being ranked with with those type of artists in Jersey history of hip hop?
Hey, put any verse up against it.
Yo,
Put any song up against it.
I,
I got my
I
money on
mean,
my team, man. Word up.
when you said like, yo, Sounds of Life, yo, when I heard that song about time and shit, that time doesn't exist and things of that nature, I wouldn't mind being associated with them for that. You know, even though they didn't get the crazy super prestige that they deserve and shit like that, there's a level of resistance in that kind of like not being known but known type shit. You know what I'm saying? Like that unwritten rule kind of fame.
I'll let
I
it
fuck with
introduce you
that.
then. I'll let it introduce you to him then.
I would definitely that would be an honor. Um I just like to know since I'm from Jersey and I I always rep Jersey wherever the fuck I'm at. I don't give a fuck. I don't tell nobody I'm from anywhere else but Jersey. You know how some of them people that they be from Jersey and they think they go out of town and be like, yeah, I'm from Brooklyn or this, that, and third. No, I'm from fucking Jersey City. And be like, where that at? It's a Jersey and it's a city. Put this shit
Word
together.
up.
All right.
Cause there's something that's just, nothing more unique than being from Jersey to
All
me.
right. Well,
That's just the way I feel. I love New York, but even if I move to New York, I'll always be a Jersey City motherfucker in New York. That's a fact.
all right. So
But we salute
before,
So that's
all
the
of them
way I think.
groups. All of them groups. We listen to every one of them.
Yeah,
So
all of them.
we
Hell
salute
yeah,
all
the
of them. Word up.
Fugees or Ryan Rascals, uh,
there's
Word up.
so many.
everybody else who rocked out
But
for
salute
Jersey,
to
yo,
them.
and Jersey City groups, all Jersey City groups, Low Cash and the Shady Bunch, all the greats that passed,
Word KS.
Gats, Rigor Mortis, where KS, Black Congress, Brolic, Army,
Hitchcock.
Hitchcock, Ransom, that's the bro, the good
What?
bro, Ransom, he a god. Buttons, I fuck with Buttons heavy. I don't really, people gonna say whatever, but the 18 that they would have their group shit. So Ransom was there, Hitchcock was there, Buttons,
Animal
um,
Crackers.
Animal Crackers, them the good bros.
And with all that being said, all of y'all are invited to Heritage Hip Hop because we
Tip
haven't really
James.
crossed into we haven't really
Kick
crossed into
facts.
Jersey City enough, and we represent Jersey hip hop worldwide. So we want everybody to come to Heritage Hip Hop. So my next
Word.
question to you would be based on this. You do music. What is the song hip hop has not made that you're dying to hear?
Man, yo, that's deep as hell. What is a
The
song that
Nas
hip hop
Hove
has made
album.
that done here?
Oh, you said
Oh,
song?
That would
Oh,
be
not
interesting.
album.
No,
yeah,
that would be
song.
interesting. That would be interesting. I don't think it'll
Word,
happen, but
that
that would
would
be
be.
interesting.
That's crazy because
You kind of cool.
Jay Z did a joint with Jay Electronica. Like Nas would have just turned that up 20 fucking like mad to the next level. Uh, shit, B. Hip hop is so interesting. Like I can never say where it's gonna be because it always shocks me. You know what I'm saying? It always when I think something, then something else. It's constantly evolving, which is crazy.
Hip hop is the only
Even when
living
you
music
think,
genre. It's the
Yeah.
only one that lives.
yeah, like
Word up. It's our
When you
natural
think it's
resource too.
saturated with artists that you
Exactly.
think, yeah, it's almost like it's. I don't know if jazz is a true American art form, but hip hop is the is the American art form of the times. It's the
It's
the
funny you
modern
say
day
that.
prophets are the rappers of the thing.
It's funny that you say that because if you look at the definition, like I gave you a hip hop was around, if you believe in the Bible, when Adam and Eve was around, because something had to give rhythm to life. When it said
Word.
God breathed on the earth,
Yeah,
it's inspiration. You get inspired to do beats. Inspiration is nothing but breath. That's a
Mm-hmm.
spirit. That's a
every
ghost.
everything you said about that, like using the human anatomy as an analogy for what music is, because it's true. Everything that you said is right. Like what we are is how we are interesting animals on this planet that we can take our conscious and put it in a rhythmic form and make other people want to listen to it and then repeat it. You know what I'm saying? And that's something that's very unique amongst all species on the planet because we could change the world with our words. We don't
We are the
gotta
only
even.
creatures that have knowledge of self, and we project ourselves. A wolf can't teach a cat how to do, or a bird can't teach a parrot can't teach a pumpkin how to, but we can inspire and teach each other how to.
Yeah,
Steel
that's
sharpen steel, and men sharpen men. Men
I
don't
would.
rust, so we give lessons eternally.
Everything you said. It's amazing how human beings are. That you could come from one specific group in East Africa, and then populate the globe and have this constant. Even though genetically no one is different than anyone else. Only people from West Africa have the most genetic mutation, but we're all basically the same of the same Homo sapien prototype that came out from East Africa that time. In 200,000 years, bring these 7 billion motherfuckers. And lions been around for how long? Probably 9 million and shit. And they still look like the same motherfucking lions they wore from the time they've been around since 9 million years ago. And I mean, that's fucking crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah,
It
it's
was
And that's
bigger.
amazing.
so. I mean, it's just even just to even move and do shit, to even do
Word.
things that we do and create tools. There's no other species in the planet that can even do stupid shit like that except for us. The
So
dumb
with that,
shit.
so with that being said, everybody, once again, this is Forever Heritage Hip Hop with the Billion Man Rebellion, and we come to the final question of this interview. And before we go, we like to say, make sure you purchase that album. Make sure you follow and subscribe. HeritageHipHop.com, BillionManRebellion.com, Heritage Hip Hop on YouTube. We have
Back.
we just had our award show. We're going towards 2021. We're building up our numbers. Please subscribe to our website. Subscribe to our YouTube site, and when we get to 1,000 subscribers on the YouTube site, we're going to have a contest for a PlayStation 5. So make sure you
Oh,
get them
That's
dope.
numbers come
gangster.
up, and we're going to support the community. Also, all hip hop artists out there, we are not about music. We have interviews not only to showcase or highlight who you are, but if you're looking for extra knowledge when it comes to the hip hop game, Heritage Hip Hop is also here to brand and counsel people who are looking to become more. How come, as an artist, you put your stuff on streaming to stream for revenue when mainstream artists only make 5% of their income off of that revenue? So why would their 5% equal your 95% of what you want? Also, if you
Word.
don't know what a Schedule C form is as an artist, you're really broke and you're doing this as a hobby. So if you really want to make money and you really want to be successful, come to Heritage Hip Hop and let us show you the 6 royalties that you are owed, but you're only getting one, maybe even that.
Man,
So
that's
with that being
gangster.
said, here's the last question of the interview. Thank you for stopping by. But Heritage Hip Hop is about legacy and heritage, and 1,000 years from now, unfortunately, you two gentlemen are not going to be walking on the earth, especially during this pandemic and things going on. We don't wish any harm on you and your families. We wish y'all a long life. So may the Most High bless you, your families, and may
You
you have
too.
prosperity
You too.
until
You
your day
too.
is called. But 1,000 years from now, in the Hip Hop Museum across the water in Harlem, they're going to talk about the greats, and somebody's going to push a red button, and and BMR1, Paranoia may come on, Brooklyn, New Jersey may come on, or one of my co-hosts Flight to Moscow may come on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And 1,000 years from now, you're going to be reintroduced to the world, to another generation. So my question is, and this is the final and most important question of the first interview. I say first because the door is open. Y'all can always come back. You don't need an album to come on Heritage Hip Hop. And I don't talk to people just because they hot or they got something out. You're gentlemen
Okay.
who have a story. And I believe that because you're God's creation, you have a right to teach, you have a right to learn, and you have a right to tell your story. So with your story being told 1,000 years from now, it's going to be heard again. And I wonder, and my final question to you is, what is the legacy that you leave behind that made the world better because you did music?
Wow, that's deep.
The legacy I want to leave behind is be yourself, express yourself in any way, shape, or form that God gave you to express yourself. Have integrity, be about what you say, and make sure your family is safe, man. Word up.
Facts, CF?
My thing is like I hope my legacy gives people a reason that no matter what the situation is, there's always an option, and that sometimes you have to just think things in a different perspective, and that's what this album was about. The psychology behind it, the character of it, is to give people a reason to exist, to be something other, which is more than just, whatever they say, talking monkeys on a floating rock. We are connected to some greater thing beyond us, and that's the message.
And with that being said, everybody, a billion man rebellion is not only a nation, not only is a movement, it's also a monument of something that travels throughout time and throughout your essence. Music is forever, and so is their message. With that being said, with Billion Man Rebellion, this is Kareb and Heritage Hip Hop saying peace, and we
Peace.
out.
Word up, peace,
Thanks a
man,
lot.
for real.
Word up.
As you see, Billion Man Rebellion is not the typical hip hop group. And when you listen to their album, The Static Files, not only do you hear real life, but you hear them bars with standout songs like Paranoia, Flight to Moscow, BMR 1, Dirt. I mean, they have songs that not only show you their expertise when it comes to lyrical penmanship and gymnastics, they also drop them bars that got you really into your mind, really perspective. Shout out to Don T with the lyrical slow flow that is poignant, and shout out to CF with the thunderous bars that's Tasmanian Devil. They're wild, crazy, but you're strong and impactful. This episode was brought to you in part by Transparent Credit Repair, the superheroes of the financial literacy credit repair world. If you're looking to repair your credit and fix your income so that you can open your wallet to receive income and not pay out debts, go to heritagehiphop.com. That's right, heritagehiphop.com, and scroll to the bottom of the screen and click the link and fill out an application to Transparent Credit Repair. That's right, Heritage Hip Hop is more than music, and not only do we want you to tell the world about your music, we want you to fix your credit so as an artist you can be great in everything that you do and own your brand. For everybody out there listening, you can help us build our program and platform by subscribing to heritagehiphop.com. Membership is free. All you gotta do is sign up to heritagehiphop.com, become a member. You can hear the many artists that we showcase on our platform. And right now we have the Old 50 Boys and their Jersey Series, our Jersey Series playlist number 2, which features the best of the Old 50 Boys music. And they have a big year coming up in 2020 to 2021. Also, we have our playlist, which are members only, and for members of heritagehiphop.com and the people who subscribe to Heritage Hip Hop YouTube, we have a very special surprise coming when we hit 1,000 subscribers. So help us get our numbers up, and you get something very special as well. We'd like to give a shout out to everybody that makes this program possible. Shout out to Fatty's Place, FADDYSPLACE on Instagram. If you're looking for a virtual assistant to help make your social media presence pop, contact Fatty's Place to help you get the clicks and the likes that you want. Shout out to Fire Jaws and Wildfire Marketing. Shout out to Lex Diamonds of Diamonds Entertainment, DIEMENZ Entertainment LLC. Shout out to the DJ Big A. Shout out to Goodfellas TV, who's now has your boy on some major programs. Make sure you follow Goodfellas TV as well. The Big A Show is coming soon, and we are going to bring more great artists, more great minds, and showcase more great people that make the heritage of hip-hop, our culture, pop, and make it viable to the world as not only great entertainment, great media, but great education pieces as well. With that being said, salute to everybody that watched the Heritage Hip Hop Awards that just passed, and shout out to Double O with his new single coming out featuring Do It All and Tretch called Dust Till Dawn on the new album Huntsman Volume 2. You can go on heritagehiphop.com, Heritage Hip Hop YouTube, and see the Huntsman Cypher. Truth Behind Bars has come back, and we're bringing you the best MCs from Brick City. This is New Jersey hip hop we're showcasing here on Heritage Hip Hop. So make sure you tune in to see more about hip hop from a New Jersey perspective. May the Most High bless you and keep you safe. And with that, we say peace, and we out.